Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Dark Wolf 782 playing in the Tier 8 U.S. Heavy Cruiser Baltimore. Matchmaking, well, it's really not too bad, although there is a CV. It's a Tier 6 CV, and how much of a threat is a Tier 6 CV to a U.S. Tier 8 cruiser? Well, I realize you could make the argument that it is still a threat, but it's not terrible. Positioning, well, I'm very happy to see that our hero has decided to move to protect the Alpha Cap to support his Akazuki and Cachalot, or, well, maybe you could help me with the pronunciation.
Awaiting instructions.
I don't see any signals.
Mic off. Mic on.
So I'm kind of wondering if maybe Dark Wolf was kind of grinding through this line. Is that possible? Hey, a little information about the Baltimore. The guns, they are 203s. You got 9 of them. 3 turrets. 3 barrels on each turret. Reload time, base is 10 seconds. Firing range, 14.39 kilometers. And puts out a shot on the destroyer. Okay, getting back to the guns. HE shells do a max damage of 2,800 with a 14% chance of fire. Not too bad. Initial HE shell velocity is only 823 meters per second. Now the thing to remember about the U.S. cruiser line is they're designed to do exactly what Dark Wolf is doing here. Sit behind cover and lob shells over it into things to start fires. The AP shells, well, they hit pretty hard. Max AP shell damage is 5,000. The AP shell velocity is only 762 meters per second. So it is a little bit trickier to put these to good use. It's not that you can't, because certainly if you know what you're doing, you can, and they hit really hard. Secondaries, well, there's not a whole lot to speak of there. AA defense, well, it's about what you'd expect in today's game. Max speed of the ship base is 32.5 knots with a turning circle radius of 730 meters and a rudder shift time base of 10.2 seconds. Leon is pushing right up, and you can see there's a red Baltimore out there, and our hero is making good use of the cover. Put shells out, but they take a long time to get there, and the red Balti turns out of the way of them, mitigating the damage for the most part.
Mic off. Mic on.
It can be difficult to hit anything other than the biggest of targets at this range. Red Miyoko takes out the friendly Farragut. And Dark Wolf has the AP loaded. I'm a little unsure why he didn't take the shot. Plainly, he decided he wanted to try and finish off the Pushin. And who am I to judge? That may have been the smartest thing he could do. But even at 8 kilometers, difficult to get these shells on small targets. Algerie finishes off the Pushin. Now, there's still a possibility the torpedoes might be on the way.
All stations, proceed to capture that area.
There's a nice shot, but as you can see, it can be really difficult at range to get these shells to land. The red Baltimore definitely has the advantage in this exchange, although he's not doing very well either. It's much easier to put these shells on something chasing you than the other way around. Now taking fire from, it looks like all 3 targets. Finds some cover, breaks the line of sight. Got the AP loaded. Let's see whether or not that does anything. The red Balti is angled pretty well, but if he continues this turn, he may eat some big damage here. Those look pretty decent. I wouldn't call 3,200 big damage, but at least it's something. Oh, look at that. That's not something you want to see coming around a corner.
Torpedoes, direct front. Airborne.
And I have to say, I'm not at all happy with subs in the game right now. Yes, you can blap them if they give you an opportunity, but so many of them can put out a ton of torpedoes at point-blank range, and they can finish you off before your guns even reload. Oh, so close. They lob over the edge of this island, try and finish off that red Baltimore, and well, fortunately, the sub went up to the Leon as Dark Wolf finishes off the red Balti. And it gets a flood, which may finish off. Nope, Algeria again beats him to it. Well, the red team is down 5 ships, so this is not really looking very good for the bad guys. Well, we're 6.5 minutes more or less into the game. Our hero has 20,000 damage, and Algeria is a little vocal about his dissatisfaction with Dark Wolf's positioning. Just mad that Dark Wolf beat him to it, I guess. Now, I think I'm not even going to try and pronounce this thing, but I think the red cruiser there, he's in big trouble. He's actually making a turn. This AP is going to just wreck him if it's on target. Well, it wasn't as bad as it could have been, as he tries to angle up a little bit, but these big shells, they're going to continue to do damage. Now let's see if maybe our hero can beat the Algeria to the punch here. And he does. So that's 2 kills for our hero, and the bad guys are down half their team now. And this Algeria is following Dark Wolf like a puppy. Interesting to see whether, I was going to say it'd be interesting to see whether this AP can do anything against the Renown at this range, but Dark Wolf switches to the AG. And, this looks really, really bad for the red team, but it will be interesting to see what happens here for the remainder of the game. So we're 8 minutes in, more or less, and our hero has 2 kills and a little over 34,000 damage. And this is, unfortunately, kind of the more often than not kind of games that you're going to find these days. What I would call blowouts. You probably have your own name for them. There's a lot of it. And Renown says, well, let's see if I can get a shot on you. Now, all those shells land to the starboard side in the water. You can see the aircraft on the way.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on full alert.
AA goes to work, and I think these torpedoes are going to make it to the water. And Dark Wolf's going to have to turn to avoid torpedo. Did the CB player get the drop away? Is there going to be a torpedo? Yep, 2 of them. And Dark Wolf has turned just enough and slowed down just enough to be able to avoid them. Nicely done. And the bad guys are trying to make use of what cover they have, but they're getting pushed on both sides. They're just really outnumbered at this point. Dark Wolf continues to push forward. You can see Algeria has moved a little bit farther south, which is giving our hero a little bit more room to work. Kutuzov finishes off the Cleveland. Oh, I think I'd switch to the AP. once I get in range of the CV, but maybe the Algerie will beat him to it. You can see that Serab is beating feet trying to get behind an island. He's running like crazy. Of course, as he runs away from Dark Wolf and the Algerie, he's pushing into West Virginia and Nebraska. Kutuzov burning. There's another fire. And Kutuzov is definitely going to sink here as Dark Wolf picks up kill number 3 at just over 47,000 damage. Now you'll note that there were a lot of shells put in the air. Only 57 of them have landed, 58 of them have landed on target. Increasing that just a little bit there. And that's because the red team has been running away. Dark Wolf angles to try and avoid getting smashed by the aircraft attack. That hurt a little bit. There is a Vladivostok out there. Puts the AP shells out there on a wing and a prayer. Let's hope they land on that CV. One ricochet. That's disappointing. Sticks with the AP, makes a 13-kilometer shot, and then turns into basically minimize his profile. There's a nice 4,800 HP shot on the Renown. And our hero is angled up again, trying to avoid getting hit. He does, and he's burning. Serab is in big trouble. Someone's going to finish him off. He's right out there in the open. Dark Wolf seems to be focused on finishing off Serab, the Renown, but I think I would probably switch to the CV before it gets behind cover again. This may be the right decision. Finish off the battleship that has a better chance of sinking you. And let's hope that does it, because that's going to give our hero another couple shots on the Serab before he gets behind cover. It does. And that's kill number 4. And Lingor, you are in big trouble now, because you do not have the armor to stop these guns. And Dark Wolf seems to be well aware of that as Gaida pops up on the map. There's a nice Citadel shot. Dark Wolf trying to finish off the Gaida. Just shy of the target, but I think Gaida is going to be in trouble here on the turn. And yeah, that was a big shot from Vladivostok. Dark Wolf picks up the Kraken and gets off a shot on the Vladivostok. Can he finish Vladivostok? He does. How about that? That's a double strike for 6 kills. And with this huge lead, this game's almost over. Can he finish that CV? It's a blind shot.
Torpedoes to starboard.
That was a really nice shot. Put 4 of them on the target, even though he had lost his lock on. Now, I don't know whether or not our hero is going to get a chance to finish off this CV. So I'm just going to say right now, great game. Really great game. You stayed with it. You angled. You made, I think, really good choices with regards to your ammunition, whether you were using AP or HE. You were changing it up in order to make the most of whatever the situation was you were in at the moment. Very smartly, stays in the cap long enough to wrap that up. And let's hope that's it for Serab. It is. And that's the game. Dark Wolf, really well done. A 7-kill game. Now, granted, the damage total wasn't all that phenomenal, but 21 aircraft shot down, 103 shells on target, 7 incapacitations, 2 floods on your airstrike attack on the sub, landing 2 of those depth charges, the 7 kills that I mentioned, 3 fires. You helped secure a cap, 3 citadels. Really a phenomenal game. I hope you enjoyed watching this with me. If you did, I really hope you'll like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.